Welcome. This is James Corbett of the Corbett Report with your EyeOpener report for BoilingFrogsPost.com. To the residents of Baluchistan, it must be puzzling that this remote, sparsely populated region in Pakistan's southwest is increasingly gaining the attention of far-flung corners of the globe, from Beijing to Moscow to Tel Aviv to Washington. A rugged, arid region dominated by the ethnic minority Baluch tribes, Baluchistan straddles parts of Iran, Pakistan, and Afghanistan. Its rugged, mountainous landscape has historically sheltered it from the various imperial, regional, and national powers that have claimed authority over it, from the Persians and Indo-Parthians thousands of years ago, to Iran and Pakistan in more recent times. Now, however, the region is suddenly gaining attention on the geopolitical stage as a strategic area in one of the most hotly contested parts of the globe. Along with this newfound attention has come the sudden attention of human rights groups and even congressmen who now claim to be deeply concerned with the struggle for independence of the Baluch peoples.
There was a major uprising in Baluchistan that ran from 1973 to 77, and the Baluch nationalists were inspired by the independence of Bangladesh, which was won in 1971. The Baluch insurgency, however, was ruthlessly crushed by Pakistani forces. After 2 decades of relative calm, insurgency broke out again in 2005. Islamabad has refused to concede any legitimacy to Baluch nationalism or to engage the Baluch leadership in serious negotiations. Its response has been based on brute force, including extrajudicial killings. The State Department and Amnesty International have condemned Pakistan for these murderous acts in Baluchistan.
Exactly as in Sudan, Libya, Uganda, and other flavors of the week in the great game that has defined global geopolitics for decades, however, this newfound attention on Baluchistan has very little to do with grievances about the plight of the long-suffering locals, and much more to do with the region's vast, untapped mineral and resource wealth, its geostrategic location on a proposed pipeline route that threatens to undermine Western influence in the region, and its role as a base of operations for terror groups that Mossad and the CIA have been using to wage a proxy terror campaign on Iran. That the region contains important minerals and resources is openly acknowledged by people like Congressman Rohrabacher, even while making their case for humanitarian intervention in the area.
The Baluchs are a fiercely independent warrior people who have made their land a perilous land to invade, except until natural gas and other mineral wealth was discovered there in this last century.
Perhaps of even greater importance than its raw natural resources, however, is Baluchistan's key location. Sitting as it does in the border region between Iran and Pakistan, the Sistan-Baluchistan region is central to a proposed pipeline connecting the Asaluyan gas field in southern Iran to Pakistan. Known as the IP pipeline for the two countries it would straddle, the project has been on the drawing board for decades, and at various times has also included the possibility that India would be the pipeline's ultimate endpoint. Bisecting as it does a proposed logistical corridor connecting the port of Gwadar in the south and China's Xinjiang province in the north, the pipeline has also attracted the interest and investment of both China and Russia, who are keen to protect their oil interests in the Middle East and counter the US presence in Central Asia. Earlier this month, Russia proposed a $1.5 billion financial and technical aid scheme to help finish the project, which is already mostly completed on the Iranian side. Earlier this week, I talked to Eric Draitser, a researcher and the editor of StopImperialism.com, about this proposed pipeline and its potential ramifications.
Yes, so the Iranians have been looking to build a pipeline into Pakistan for quite a while, and in fact, they had already laid some of the groundwork, some of the infrastructure for the pipeline years ago. So the Iranians are using this Iran-Pakistan pipeline, I think, as part of a comprehensive strategy to I don't want to necessarily say outwit, but to get around the United States sanctions. One of the things that they're looking to do is they're looking to connect themselves, to intertwine economically with their neighbors. That would include India. We've seen massive increase in Indian importing of Iranian oil. That includes Iran's relationship with Pakistan. That includes Iran's engagement in Afghanistan post-United States. So from Iran's perspective, the pipeline is essential lifeline to a future, despite what the United States might want to do. On the flip side, Pakistan is in what I think we could consider to be an energy crisis. They have a shortfall of an extraordinarily large amount of energy, and they're looking for any way to make up that shortfall. So it's clearly mutually beneficial economic development, this pipeline. Now, we also know that there are companies ranging from China to the European Union that are trying to get in on this pipeline, either to finance or to build. And so really what we're seeing is, although it's the Iran-Pakistan pipeline, it is directly connected to the geopolitics of the Chinese, the geopolitics of the Russians, as well as, naturally, the geopolitics of the Western powers.
One of the most troubling aspects of the outside influence in the region, however, is the admitted use of the area as a staging ground for terror operations against Iran, operations that have been puppeteered by both American and Israeli intelligence. Baluchistan is home to Jundullah, a Sunni terror group founded by Abdul Malik Rigi to fight against the Shiite government of Iran. It has been conducting operations in Iran since 2003 and is estimated to have killed between 150 and 300 Iranian citizens in a series of deadly attacks. In 2010, the US State Department added Jundullah to a list of designated terrorist organizations, citing the group's reliance on suicide bombings, ambushes, kidnappings, and targeted assassinations. In 2007, however, ABC News reported that the group was being advised and encouraged by American officials, reports that were subsequently repeated by the London Telegraph and the New Yorker. These reports were confirmed by Rigi himself, who was captured by Iranian authorities en route to Kyrgyzstan from Dubai in 2010.
After Obama was elected, the Americans contacted us by the person that I named in Quetta in Pakistan, and they met with me. They met us after the clashes with my group around 17th of March in Zahedan, and he said that the Americans had requested a meeting. I said that we didn't have time for a meeting, and if we do meet them, they should promise to help us. And they said that they will cooperate with us, free our prisoners, and will give you military equipment, bombs, machine guns, and will give you a base along the border with Afghanistan next to Iran.
The US continues to deny involvement with the group, however, and earlier this year Foreign Policy magazine floated a story indicating that Israeli Mossad agents had in fact posed as CIA officers in order to recruit Jundullah operatives for strikes against Tehran. The persistent reports of American involvement with Baluchi terror groups sheds further light on an announcement earlier this year that the CIA has been involved in a heavy recruitment of Baluchis since at least March 2011, paying each agent $500 a month for help in its operations in the area. In fact, the use of American intelligence informants dates back at least to the 1990s, when FBI whistleblower Behruz Sarshar indicates a high-ranking Iranian informant was used in intelligence-gathering operations in the region. Interestingly, the area was also the birthplace of Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, the supposed mastermind of 9/11, and the area where US officials gained intelligence that led to his capture in Rawalpindi. Now, under the banner of Free Baluchistan, a number of think tanks, policy experts, human rights groups, and Washington insiders are calling for support of terror groups in the region that are fighting against the Pakistani government itself, which is drifting further and further from Washington as it begins to cement ties with Iran, formalize its membership in the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, and draw closer to Beijing. The repeated attacks in the area by Baluchi independence groups provide a way for the Americans to help stop the strategic port of Gwadar from falling under China's sway, and helps to keep Islamabad on its toes. It will come as no surprise to keen observers of geopolitics that yet another independence struggle is being used as an excuse for outside powers to become embroiled in a geostrategic corner of the globe. In fact, in the wake of numerous such interventions, from CIA involvement in Afghanistan in the 80s, to American and Israeli involvement in the creation of South Sudan, to the NATO-led humanitarian love bombing of Libya, it would be foolish for the public not to question the hidden motivation behind such intervention in the name of peace and freedom. Much is up for grabs in this volatile region, and it is far from clear which side of the global power struggle will gain the upper hand in the area. But one thing is certain. With this intervention, as in every such cynical manipulation of regional differences and grievances, it is the people who will be divided and conquered, paying with their blood for the imperial avarice of those who are content to chew them up and spit them out, as it suits the grander geopolitical agenda. This video is brought to you by the subscribers of BoilingFrogsPost.com. For more information on this and other topics, please go to BoilingFrogsPost.com. For more information and commentary from James Corbett, please go to CorbettReport.com.